good, everybody? What is good? What is good? Just want to give it a couple seconds, let everybody else join on to the call. Obviously, want to make sure that we're all on at the same time so nobody is missing anything. But what is good? My man Salah. What's good, bro? What's good? What's good? What's good? Hopefully, everybody's having a great week so far. I know today it is Wednesday. So we are going to, well, hopefully, we'll be able to see a lot more volatility within this market. We do have US news coming out later on today, so we do have to be very careful when trading the US dollar. If anything, we won't be trading it until the news is actually given. But we have been able to see a lot of great moves within the market, so we'll be able to identify some potential opportunities. These opportunities obviously will be sent out as signals and personally placed trades for students in the auto trader, but I obviously want to jump onto the charts and really help you guys understand the reasoning behind why we place these trades for students and help you understand how to become a more consistent and more profitable trader, so that way you can obviously duplicate that and make your own individual profits as well. So before we begin, again, good morning, guys. I really do appreciate everybody who joins the calls and who's been consistently, helping grow this small community so far. We definitely have been getting a lot more engagement in people, so I definitely want to send my gratitude to you guys. So before we begin, if there's any questions that you guys have, if there's any specific markets you guys would like to take a look at, feel free to let me know as well. I'll definitely go ahead and take a look at that for you guys. Let me see what you guys got. What's good, my man Jerome? What's good? I should definitely shut my window because I feel like it's going to get really loud. For anybody who is new to the channel, I live in the middle of New York City, so it gets really loud no matter what. So I do apologize in advance. My man Salah, my request today is check it. Check the Dow Jones, bro. Yesterday was down. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, the majority of all markets that went against the dollar, or everything pretty much went against the dollar. Like I'll take a look at the DXY here in a second, but not only has like the dollar been kind of weird, like I just marked up Euro USD as like a generic pair real quick before we jumped onto the call. But even with the dollar kind of giving a little bit of an idea, it's still in like limbo in a sense. So if I go to the DXY, it's kind of like the same. That's the kind of reason why I went over to Euro USD. Right now, it's kind of like in this weird, I'm talking about current market status, right? So if I'm looking at something like this, the market's not giving us much. This is what you simply call a range. Now, this would be the entire range. I just don't want my zones being that big. So I'm going to make it actually to this point. Make it a little bit higher. Now I do know that this is part of it, but I don't want my zones that big. So we're kind of like in limbo. It hasn't really given us a true idea of what it wants to do next. Overall, yes, the Dow Jones or or you said Dow Jones. I'm over here looking at the DXY. Is that what you said? Dow Jones. Oh, okay. So you want, oh, my bad. You're looking at US30. I'm over here. I don't know why I saw DXY. My bad. So I'm on the weekly. I'm over here thinking you were talking about the DXY. My bad, bro. Again, people, be very careful when trading Dow Jones, SPX 500, NAS1. Like those things are very, 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 like they're crazy. They're very crazy. But overall, is it bearish? I mean, as far as current market size, let me actually check the higher time frame. I would say this is actually a little bit more bullish in a sense. Again, we're just drawing a generic trend line. Okay, give me 1 second because it's going to get really noisy. I feel like I should close my office windows. Let me do this really quick and then I'll close that. So let me do this. All right, perfect. So what I'm looking at on the daily is, again, you always want to check the higher time frame to get the overall idea of what the market is doing. What's good, Braxton? What's good, homie? So if I'm looking at US30, again, like I'm just trying to understand the overall movement. This is a pretty bullish market in a sense, right? We are starting to create more lower highs so far because it still has an opportunity to break above higher. But if we look left to get right, it did actually come back to some form of structure here. And we can see it rejecting off of. Let me make that more perfect. There we go. So we can see that we are getting some form of correction, but the market is still very much bullish. It's not the market is down. You always have to understand what is happening. Look at it. Like, look at the overall market. You can't just say, well, it looks like it's selling or it's bearish. No, it's not. You got to actually look. Like, what can you understand about the market right now? We hit a level of resistance after a strong what? Impulse. What happens after an impulse? A correction. So if we understand that simple concept, a very simple concept, that after a impulsive move, there's a correction. It's not that the market is selling or it's bearish or the market is down. It's correcting. Where is it probably going to correct to? Well, we have that bullish trend line there. We also have the level of structure that was broken out of here. It was already broken out and retested, but it can come back down to that point and test again. It's not that the market is bearish or it's selling or it's dying or no. You have to look at it. Why is it selling right now? We can tell that it's selling because it came to a level of resistance. And what happens at a level of resistance? The market should find some form of bearish movement. And we found that bearish movement. We have the confirmations of that bear movement right here too. Look at this candle. Well, all three of these candlesticks at that. All right, I'll get rid of this so that way no one's confused. These three candles right here creates a evening star candlestick reversal pattern. That's important because that's telling us that buyers are no longer in the market and sellers are pretty much taking over. So, well, not taking over, but at least on a higher time frame, that takeover is pretty big. That's a lot of money that could be made from those highs to these lows, right? So again, what you're looking at is a corrective move in a bullish market. Yes, we are creating some form of structure from here. It definitely can break lower, break the structure here, break the trend line. But as of right now, this is still very much bullish. So you can't just immediately, excuse me, you can't just immediately disregard and say, oh, well, this is selling. You have to look at the overall idea. So what I would say is, as of right now, yes, US30 is in a form of a bearish move because we have hit that level of significant structure. So if we just put this level of resistance, just simple concepts, basics, nothing crazy. So we can see that we have a level of resistance. That level of resistance is being confirmed as being strong because we're getting that candlestick reversal pattern. We're getting bearish variance. We can now understand that this market is no longer in its impulsive phase. It is now in its corrective phase. And as it corrects, it will come back to reach a level of significant structure before wanting to make its next move. Does that make sense? So what you can look at is level or a buy range. We'll just put buy kill zone. Right? So we'll put that there. When we scale down to a smaller time frame, what can we do? Actually, I'll scale down to the 1 hour because this is something like on the 4 hours, not really too much, but on the 1 hour, you can see a little bit more because it might not even reach that point because look at what we're getting here, right? We're getting some structure even here. Each time frame does in fact have its own markup, right? So I'm going to draw this. Now, this would be the entire zone because we have to take into account this here, but I don't want my zones being that big because then it just looks all crazy. So we're cheating a little bit. So we're just going to put that right there. So we hit a level of structure. So we have a buy kill zone here. And then we also have a buy kill zone here. I would say aggressive kill zone. I can't spell. Aggressive kill zone. Right? The reason why this is called, or we'll actually put conservative kill zone. And I'll go over the meaning on all of this here in a second. What? Aggressive buy kill zone. So we have 2 points of reference for potential buys here, right? The reason why I'm looking at this as an aggressive buy kill zone is because if, again, we go into a higher time frame, that's not a really steep correction. We can actually measure that out. We'll go from swing lows here, swing highs. That's at the 38.2. Did it even touch the 38.2? Let's see. It did. Okay. So that is a 38.2 Fibonacci correction. That can be used as a reference for a buy, but it's not the best because it for such a strong impulse, you always want to see a pretty decent correction, right? And you also want to see that corrective move reach the level of, or not just the level of structure that was broken out of, but a level of structure, because that's going to give you more confluence. Here, we only have one true idea or signal for a buy, which is just 38.2. But if we came back down to our conservative buy kill zone, the risk reward would be better. We have two forms of confluence, being the 61.8 or a fib ratio in general, the level of structure, and even that trend line. Let's say if it comes back down here and it just consolidates and it still respects the structure and the fib, and then the trend line, then we have three levels of confirmation, right? And then obviously the candlesticks will dictate more, which will be our fourth, and at least for me, my final confirmation being the candles. But again, this is still very much in a bullish market. We can look for buys at the current range. Also because if we look at the 1 hour, you have that inverted head and shoulders pattern idea, which is really important as well. I knew I was forgetting something. I was like, there was one more thing that I saw, but we have that inverted head and shoulders pattern there as well, right? So this also could be a strong buy range, but I would think that US30 is still very bullish, very, very bullish until we break any one of these lows, right? But I don't see that as of yet. So this is the markup for US30. Now, I don't do anything on smaller time frames like 5 minute, 15 minute. I know a lot of people do that. I personally do not. I'm looking for the overall idea. I want to see what the market is initially doing, because let's just say in a perfect world, obviously this is not the case. This did not happen, but I'm just saying, let's say we were perfect. Let me just get rid of all this. I'm going to get, I'll just leave it like that. So let's say in a perfect world, we were able to buy, oh, wrong tool. Let's say we were able to buy from there. On a smaller time frame, I feel like people would take profits there, not really hold. If I understand the overall idea, my take profits are all the way up here. That's the main reason why I'm looking for the overall trade, the bigger move, is because if I can get that big ass move from here to here, I definitely will. But yeah, that's why I'm always looking for the overall idea, not just like the 15 minute time frame when it comes to indices. And it's not just talk. I'm not talking any mess. It's just, that's just my style of trading. I'm a swing trader, position trader, if you will. Salah, you said, now you make me happy to hear that news from you. Thank you, my brother. Yep, no problem. What were you initially looking at? Were you looking at buys? Were you looking at sells? But yeah, any other questions you guys got? If not, I'll just take a look at some charts real quick. We do have US news coming out. It's very high. It's a red level folder, so high impact news. So we got to be extremely careful. Even with US30, this will be impacted. Obviously, gold. I'll take a look at gold really quick because this is one of my favorite markets to trade. This is kind of giving us a weird idea. Let me actually scale it to a higher time frame. We did get that initial correction, so let's actually do this. Let's replay this. So this is what I mean about like using the market structure, identifying price, really seeing what the market is leaving behind. Because as I see this, oh, I forgot how to actually. Did I lose it? I did. For some reason, I can't. Can I do it like that? Oh, never mind. I'm trying to figure out where I lost that the button to play it. Never mind. I'll figure that out later. Because what I wanted to do was kind of like show you guys the how the market moved as far as the structure is concerned and why we identify specific points of interest. Because anytime you look at a chart, again, like just look at this. I want everybody to get used to seeing this so that way you're not confused. When you jump onto a chart and you see something like this and you're identifying the market trend, right? Or you're trying to see, well, what should I do in this chart? Is it buying? Is it selling? Look at it. What is it doing? Obviously, higher time frame gives you the stronger confluence, but we know that right now gold is in a very strong bullish trend. If we look from these lows to these highs, right, we know that it's buying. So what's the strongest idea for us to do? Potentially look for strong buys. So when we scale down to smaller time frames, being the 4 hour, 1 hour, even if you want to use the 30, the 15 minute, those are great, right? But what I'm looking for is where can I place my initial entry? I know that 50% of my work here is done. Why? Because I know the direction of the market. It is currently buying. So what should I be doing? I should be looking for the same aspect, buys. Where should I buy from? Probably where the market has had some form of action or some buys happen before. So if I look left to get right, I can identify that we started creating higher highs and higher lows, but when it started creating those lower or those higher lows, it always came back to structure points. Look at down here as a start. It broke above these previous highs. And as it broke above, it came right back down to test that structure again. We broke above these highs here from these lows here. It didn't quite come back down to the level of structure, right? I don't think it came back, did it? It almost did. But you want to identify like those points of references as your entry points, because then we have another thing here. It broke above these highs. I'll get rid of this really quick. And I'm just showing you the market movement. Broke above these highs. As it broke above, it came back to retest that point. What do you think I'm going to show you right here? Same thing, right? Gold is broken above a previous high. There was some structure here. It broke above and it came right back down to test this level. And we can see it breaking up higher. If we scale down to the smaller time frame, being the 2 hour and the 1 hour, I'm going to try to find further confluence, a further idea that'll confirm the idea of this being a bullish move, right? Because we're still looking for buys. A lot of people are like, well, gold's selling off. Is it? Or is this the impulsive move and its correction? That's the biggest aspect, right? So let me actually go into the 4 hour, see where the actual impulse is or starts from. Starts from here, swing high or swing low to swing high. Came right back down to that 786, even hit the 886, but it couldn't quite break or stay below that 786 fib ratio. So it did come back down to level of structure, even down to that 786. So we have confluence for this move. And what we can also do here is draw this trend line. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to understand how to mark up a chart, what tools to use, how to use them, what points of references you should be identifying to actually place these as accurate markups, right? That's the thing. Everybody wants a guru strategy when there is none. It's just simple basics, understanding how to mark up a chart. So I'm just simply marking up on gold really quick because nobody's asking any questions. Nobody's giving me a chart to look at. So that's perfectly fine. If you guys are just paying attention and listening and learning, that's perfectly fine with me. But I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys as much knowledge and value as much as possible. So with gold, we can also see the break of this trend line. So all I'm doing right now is just identifying like triggers, if you will, or signals, if you will, that the market is leaving behind, clues. So we have a break of trend line, which is showing us that obviously we know when we have a break of a trend line that it's going to give us the different direction idea. We know that this is a bearish trend line. That bearish trend line was now broken. So since that bearish trend line is broken, that means that buyers are now taking over for the most part. For last, we're listening to you, bro. Got you. Yeah, that's what I figured. You guys are good. That's what I figured. So all I'm doing now is going to mark up this level of structure here as well, because we know that this was a form of resistance. And the only reason why I'm on the 1 hour time frame, on a smaller time frame, is because on the daily, we are not going to be able to get much analysis, much of an idea of maybe the next potential entry or move. We know the direction, right? That's why I always say that 50% of the markup is done once we know the general direction, the trend of the market. So when we go down to smaller time frames, we could get into detail and then go into further detail and find more confluence stating where should we initially buy, or should we be buying, or there's other time frames giving us the same idea, and it definitely is. So right now, and we do have news coming out in an hour. So at 8:30 we have heavy news coming out. So that's what the market is waiting for, as far as the lack of volatility. And it's obviously not even New York session anyway. We're very early. So we're basically going to be leading into the London layover, where we have London session and New York session together, basically. About gold, do you think it's going to retest before continuing. Well, that's the thing. When it comes to marking up a chart, as far as like, I can't ever tell you anything. If anybody was to be like, yeah, it's definitely gonna come back and retest it, they fucking lying. You know what I mean? Because we don't know what the market's gonna do. I'd be lying to if I said yes, it's going to come back and retest. Can it? It definitely can. Do I know for a fact? Absolutely not. I can't tell you for sure. But with anything, but what we do understand with how the market is, it does give us those forms of respect or retests, right? So what I am looking at, and that's a good question, by the way, is let's say news comes out and we're at right now this current level of resistance. So we're going to draw it like this. Current level of resistance. So I can see this current level of resistance, and it's right now not breaking above. That should trigger a sell, right? At least because we have such a strong, or any time we have a strong break of something being a trend line or a level of structure, i.e. at this case right now, this trend line, it's going to be a strong impulsive move. What happens, like we stated earlier, what happens after an impulsive move? A correction, right? So what I would think is that at least, let's say news comes out and it's positive for the dollar. Now, I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I'm not telling the future. I'm just using this in a perfect world example, right? Let's say news comes out and we get that rejection from these highs. Can it come back, excuse me, retest the trend line? Can it come to this level of minor structure, create a inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then look to continue to push up higher? There's a lot of possibilities that the market can create. That's why I'm always an advocate of saying, let it truly develop. Let the market really show you what it wants to do before you go ahead and jump the gun. Now, for me personally, I might get risky. I know I did it before. I think we won. I'm not too sure if it was, I think it was, it was another, excuse me, it was another Euro USD trade that we won. I think it was sometime this week. I think it was yesterday or Monday rather. Yeah, I think it was yesterday that we won another news trade. I might go ahead and do the same. Actually, no, we didn't win that one. I think it was Euro USD. I put sells and it skyrocketed. I'm lying. I think we actually lost that one, but I just wanted to test that out, and I'm gonna test it out again today. I might go ahead because my theory is that before news, the market reaches a level of structure, and then when news comes out, that volatility drives the market in the opposite direction, being you want to always sell at a high point, right? So let's say news comes out positive for the dollar, gold would start to sell. You want to sell at high points. So I might go ahead and test my theory out again today. I don't know. What about Euro USD? Please can you check EuroCAD, Euro USD, NGU? Damn. God damn. All right. Damn. All these requests. No, all right. I got you. I'm gonna take a. I just took a look at Euro USD as well. But you guys gotta understand something. There's really not much to speak on when it comes to these markets because of news. You guys have to consider news. That is extremely important. That's where a lot of people mess up. We want to take a look at a chart. We want to know buy or sell. We don't take a look at Forex Factory. We don't take a look at what the fundamentals will be for that day and what pairs will be affected. Go take a look. Guys, I want you guys to do this. If you haven't, if you don't, forexfactory.com. The reason why I'm not doing it is because one, I want you, the biggest thing is you retain the knowledge more when you seek it. So when you go into Forex Factory, when you start looking at this, you're going to create that habit to always check so that way you're not negatively affected by high impact news. I'm trying to teach you guys very good habits. Forexfactory.com. If you've never been on it, go check it. That's the biggest reason why I want, we're just going to take a look at it. We ain't trading it though. Xauusd? What is that? Oh, copper? Same thing. It's a metal. If gold's pushing higher, what do you think copper is going to be doing? Pushing higher. That really ain't much to speak on that. That's just a bullish market. It's already kind of came back down to retail. Yeah, I mean, that's very simple. Let that correct down, then buy. never traded copper, never looked at copper before. All right, so I'll take a look at Euro USD real quick. But yeah, copper, you're just buying that shit. You ain't doing nothing else. But yeah, Euro USD, like I said before, is just you're in a ranging market. You're not doing anything with this. It's very much in a bullish market. Overall, we know that Euro USD is in a bullish market. 50% of your work right there is done. Right, philosopher? Again, I want everybody to get used to this. Get used to this. This is not hard. This is the most easiest thing to do if you just make it that easy. Common sense. What is this market doing? Look at it. If I told somebody, if I asked somebody who never traded in their life, never looked at a chart, and I showed them this, the first thing they're going to say is this stock, because they're not going to know it's currencies, but they're going to say this stock is pushing up. This stock is going higher, right? Obviously, we know it's not a stock. I'm just being funny. But they're going to say that this is going higher. This is moving up. So you already know that if you're pushing higher and we're on a daily time frame. If I go into a weekly time frame, you can even see the current bullish market. I know overall it's bearish, but currently it is bullish. Can't really, I really wouldn't use that trend line. But right now, the current standpoint, you can tell that this market is buying. Don't make this difficult. We can make it difficult by using all these weird ass tools. Remember, I show you this all the time. But I do this so that way you guys don't get caught in the trap of thinking that trading is difficult and you have to have all these weird ass. No, make it very simple. Right now, we know the market is buying, bullish. I know I'm repeating myself, but repetition is key. So we know it's buying. So what should you be doing? Looking for strong buys. Where can those buys come from? Well, identify where buys happened before. We know that was a level of previous structure, and what happened? A buy happened. A buy happened. A buy broke, or a candle broke out from that resistance point. And then what happened? It bought some more. We're creating a higher high. So if I go to a smaller time frame, I'm just going to scale down to the 1 hour real quick. We're going to get detailed. What can I identify here? Well, I know that I'm in a ranging market. This is a resistance high. This is our support low. What can you do? You want to identify sells from those highs, buys from those lows, until either end is broken. That will dictate the next move. My honest opinion, I think that this will continue to be bullish. But as far as right now, what to do with it, you do nothing. This isn't giving you any type of move unless you reach one of these highs or lows. But right now you do nothing because we're not at the support low. We're not at the resistance high. We just respected the resistance high. This is why I always tell you guys, identify structure points for your entries. Very, very important. So right now I would think at least if we're looking at anything, if you would look for a trade, let Euro USD reach back down to these lows. If you get some respect from this point, you look for your buys. That's it. Right now you're in a ranging market. Play the range. Play the ranging market. You're going to sell range. Obviously, because that's the range high, and this is your buy range, because that is your range low. When either end is broken, let's say this comes down and it doesn't respect, it breaks below that point. Now you know that the market is probably no longer bullish, and you can then just look for the retest lower. Or if you want to trade the breakout, I know people trade the breakout. I personally do not, but if you trade the breakout, I mean, you could even do that if you're on the charts during that time, or if you put a limit order there, you know what I mean? But I would say right now, let the news come out for the dollar, because that's going to give you the volatility. That's going to give you the true idea of what's going to happen next. Let's say news comes out, it drops down to this point, and it does not break. You have a strong case for a buy, right? So Euro USD, choppy in a sense. You're playing that range. Overall, it's very bullish. If the news comes out positive for the, or negative for the dollar rather, we're going to see Euro USD continue to be bullish. If it comes out negative or positive for the dollar rather, and it comes back down to this level of structure and it is not broken, You then look for your buys. I wouldn't say immediately though, because what ends up happening is there's volatility after that first initial release. It could just continue to carry on over even in the next few candles. So you want to let it develop around that range. So that's my idea with Euro USD. Absolutely, my brother. Thank you so much for your knowledge and your awesome experience. Yep, no problem. What time frame do you prefer to look for the trend of the market? You've been here. The higher time frame. Daily, weekly, monthly. You can even see it on the smaller time frames. Like, it's not hard. Look. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful, but look. You have to look. That's all you have to do. It doesn't matter about time frames. It matters about using common sense. I'm not saying that sound disrespectful. Right before I start trading for the day, right before I start doing anything, the first thing I always tell myself, literally, I look myself in the mirror and I say, use common sense. That's it. Because common sense is literally all you need. You don't need a specific time frame or an indicator to determine the trend. Look at it. If I get rid of everything, you can still tell that that's bullish. All you have to do is now start using or getting more detail to understand a little bit further, but you don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to understand. I'm on the 1 hour time frame. I know it's hard to see, but all you can see is that the market is moving up. Yes, there are sells in between, but overall, what the fuck is this doing? It's buying. You don't have to have a specific time frame. You don't have to have a specific indicator. All you have to use is common fucking sense. That is it. And I hope that resonates. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm telling you, I say this because I know this is going to help. This is going to stick with you. I've had so many students come back to me and be like, yo, I appreciate you keeping it real because I actually remember the things that you say. You know what I mean? And sometimes they be like, I feel like they remember it more because I put it in a manner that, you know what I mean, it just sticks. Use common sense. If you look at the chart and you're like, well, I don't know, what is this doing? Is it buying or selling? And you're seeing it, you know it's buying. Because is it creating higher highs, higher lows? Or is it creating lower lows and lower highs? Right now, you can clearly tell higher high, higher low, higher high, higher lows. You know what I mean? Even this being a higher low. So you don't have to worry about a specific time frame. You just have to say, well, if I'm on the daily, okay, well, that looks bullish. If I'm on the weekly, well, that still looks bullish. I'm on the 4 hour. Well, damn, that still looks bullish. 2 hour, still looks pretty. You could tell. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a dead horse. I'm just trying to really help you understand that it doesn't matter. All you have to do is use common sense. That's the biggest thing. All right, and let me see what else. There is also new CPI England today for Gbpjpy. Yes, trust me, I know. I'm very aware. That's why I'm just like kind of chilling. I was gonna look for trades for us today on the live, but with the news, like it's been very news heavy. I'm not gonna risk it. I might actually. Let me go back to gold really quick. I do want to see. I might, and this is very stupid. I know we did this yesterday. I did take a loss on it on I think it was sells on Euro USD before news. It is the dumbest thing to do, but I might go ahead and place a sell on gold right before news releases, only because I really want to test see if my theory is correct. If before the news happens, the market reaches a specific structure point, and then when news comes out, we get that volatility in the direction we anticipated by using technical analysis. So I'm trying to see if that's the case. I might go ahead and play some sells on gold later, which would be really dumb. Jerome, I remember very well. Yeah, dude. Euro JPY and GJ. All right. What can you tell me? This looks like a very good retest point. That is all. And GJ, yeah, that's still very much bullish. Actually, no, because in a range, you can't really use a fib ratio. So let me actually just do this. We do have some respect from this resistance high. But it does seem as if this market wants to continue to be bullish. We do have that pound news later, so the lack of volatility on this might be a thing. But I mean, if I did draw my fib, let's see where we're at. Did I at least hit the 38.2? Almost. It did not hit the 38.2. Let me just make sure this is accurate. Okay, yeah. So it did not hit the 38.2, right? So even though it's close, I don't care what anybody says, that is not an accurate touch of the 38.2. So this correction is not over yet. This must at least hit the 38.2 to be considered a actual correction. So with the lack of volatility, again, with pound news coming out later, I would still think this is very much bullish in a sense. Overall, we look at the smaller or the higher time frames. Look where we're getting. Look left to get right. Remember what we spoke about this even since last week, if I'm correct. This being considered a PRZ, a potential reversal zone. And we also have created here, let's see this really quick. Where is it? There it is. We've also created a double bottom. So a daily double bottom. Which is a bullish reversal pattern. We obviously have some respect here at the middle points of that double bottom, or that B point, if you will. So this being a level of resistance so far. But again, we're at a strong level of resistance after what? A strong impulsive move. So this is the impulse. The impulse got tired and died out at a significant level of structure and started its correction. So I would think, and even if I look left to get right and we use a little bit of this structure, I would assume it did peak down a little bit more. We're going to cheat. We're going to just put it right there at where the current market is. I know this would be the entire zone, just so I could show you guys. Or, well, that's not the entire zone. This would be the entire zone here. But again, if I scale down to a smaller time frame on the 1 hour, everything is going to look weird and blue. What our candles on the 1 hour are wicks on the 4 hour. So I'm just making sure that I'm keeping my analysis or my charts as clean as possible. So that way I know what I'm looking at, what my next moves would be. So I'm going to put that right there, current market price. Just so that way I know that there's some structure to the left of me. So when I scale down to a smaller time frame, again, that correction could be over with. We're starting to get some wicks to the downside here on these candles, which we understand now. Hopefully you guys are getting the idea that wicks equal rejection, right? So this might start to look for some continued buys, right? This market is still, I mean, look at this impulsive move. The news came out for the Japanese yen yesterday, and apparently it was negative. How can we tell? Look at that move. What should we be doing with this market? We should probably be buying, because this is very, very bullish. Let me actually just draw this trend line for future reference. But yeah, I would think that you're looking at buys on GJ. You're looking at buys on Euro. Look at Euro JPY. Where's that at? Right? What do I always say? Or what have I explained before? You're never getting a weak break of structure. Look at that breakout. You're going to always get a pretty good idea for a significant correction. Where's that correction at? A level of structure. And it's also at the 61.8. You know what? Let me see real quick. Hey, can you look at... I looked at that before. Looks like a massive sell? No, it is definitely not. I looked at that, Kyle. That's a strong-ass buy. Look at that entire market. You tell me. I'll go back to it after this. I looked at it for you before. But go into the higher time frame and tell me that's a sell. I hope that changes your mind. I did look at copper, but yeah, that is, I don't see where you got the sells from. That is a strong ass buy. So real quick, I might actually go ahead. Let me actually just pull up my handy dandy legacy line. So all I'm doing real quick is using my little personal strategy here with these weird ass moving averages in Bollinger Band to see if this is going to be a good range for a potential buy. I'm just scaling down to a smaller time frame to see if there was something that I like to call an extreme, and I want to see some more action. So there's no confirmations on the entry on this just yet, But if anything, my honest opinion, you're looking for buys literally at this range that it's currently at. Right? We're having some confirmation again on the higher time frame, being on the daily. We are at a level of structure. I should have pointed that out before. We're at a buy zone. Again, looking left to get right. This was resistance, ended up being support, and it is still being used as a level of support. When I scale down to a smaller time frame, we're seeing market structure being a little bit different. What was it could have created lower lows and lower highs, but what we're getting is a break above these points. So we looked at a sell, could not break below that initial daily support zone, and it is now creating higher highs and hopefully higher lows. So I do think that even with Euro JPY right now, this would be considered a strong buy kill zone. So you guys can use this as a point of reference for your own individual trades. Buy kill zone. And I'm going to put this out just for you guys. May be a personal trade / auto trade for students. Personal. So I'm putting that because, again, I do these sessions so that way, obviously, I can educate and really help you guys become more consistent with your own individual trading, really help you guys and become, self-sufficient. But also these markups and a lot of the analysis that I have here will be sent out as signals for students, like here, big lot size signals, stuff like that. And then also for our auto traders, so that way everybody makes money. But I'm giving you guys literally all of the value, all of the education that goes behind the work that we do. So this is real stuff, guys. I really want you guys to take advantage of the time, take advantage of the knowledge, and really understand that you guys are getting a lot of value, tons of it. So real quick, with that being said, Segue King, if you guys are getting some value, if you guys are getting education, do me one quick favor. Please like this video. It definitely helps. It helps grow the channel, not just for me, but for you guys. The bigger this movement goes, the bigger we grow this community, the bigger this all gets, the more value I'll be able to give to you guys. No matter what, I'll be able to give you guys more signals, more profits, more analysis. I'll be able to stay on these calls much longer because we'll be impacting a lot more people's lives. So help me help you. Please like this video. It definitely goes a long way. We actually broke we're over 1,000 subscribers. I didn't think that was actually going to ever happen. I know that doesn't seem like a lot and it doesn't seem like a milestone, but I do no marketing. I don't do any form of, YouTube influencing anything. So it was just all organic, and I want to see if we can continue in that fashion. So definitely appreciate that, guys. I'm in EU risky. It looks like a massive sell. I don't see the sell on that. Jay, what will happen if news of US dollar is positive, Dow Jones, or negative? You tell me. I'm here to teach, but I also want you guys to take the initiative to do some work, right? And I'm not saying that to sound fucked up, but I'm saying that because, again, the more knowledge you give yourself, the more times you answer the question and you find the answer, you'll be able to retain that knowledge more. You tell me. If the news comes out positive for the dollar, that means what? That gold will start to sell, Euro USD will start to sell. So what do you think will happen with the Dow Jones? You tell me. And you said X, and I told you, Kyle, XCU USD. Copper. Where do you see a sell? Look, I said a higher time frame. Where do you see a massive sell? I see a massive buy going on. There is no massive sell. The only time you're going to possibly look for sells is up here. There is no massive sell. Look at the look. That's what I mean. Look at the charts. Look at what the market is giving you. Where do you see a sell? There's absolutely no sell on this. Look at the candles. I'm on the weekly time frame. Look at the candles. This candle has little to no wick on the top. It has literally no wick on the bottom. Do you know what that means? That means that buyers are like, fuck this, we out. There's no sellers involved. Look at this current candle. It tried selling off and it said, you're bugging. We go to the daily. Look at what's happening. We have broken above another structural high. Where do you see a massive sell? If you're looking at from where it's at now, to here, that is not a massive sell. That is a corrective move and very risky in such a strong bullish market. You are not selling this whatsoever. So please be careful with that. This is what I mean about look at the chart. Just because, let's do this real quick too. RSI, relative strength index. Let's put stochastic, right? So I'm putting these indicators here because what ends up happening is everybody's like, oh, it's way too overbought. It's way too overbought. It's time to sell. It's time to sell. This market's going to reverse. Absolutely not. What ends up happening is these indicators, if this is what you're looking at, if anybody uses this in a strong trending market, what ends up happening is these indicators become obsolete in strong trending markets, because what's considered oversold or overbought, rather in this case, overbought, it really is not, because look at how much further this is pushing up higher. So you don't want to get caught in the idea that you have to look for a reversal. You must continue with the trend. This is very bullish. There is no massive sells. No massive sells, Kyle. Just like I said before, you are not selling this whatsoever. If you do, Godspeed. Your sells are up there. So not going to touch back on that because I've told you twice. That is a strong buy. Strong as buy. You guys have to really look at this, right? Everybody has that concept of, oh, I want to get that wick entry, right? Because I get it. We want to get that. Let's say you're like, oh, well, it looks like it's going to start to correct. I want to get that wick entry. You sell. Let's say you sell from right here. And you're like, oh, I'm in profits a little bit. I'm perfect. I got it. And next thing you know, it just says, nah, you're good. Because that's not the true direction of the market. That's not where the money is going. This is the only time where if everybody in the market, if the banks were in your house, like, yo, you know what? We got to go. We got to go jump off this bridge. We're going to put all of our money into buys on copper. If you don't jump off the bridge with us, like you lost. That's the only time you want to follow and jump off a bridge with somebody. You know what I mean? It's a worse analogy, but it's true. You want to go where the money is going. You want to make sure that you're going in the same direction that the money is flowing. So I don't see any sells on this whatsoever. I would think that you would look for continued buys. So be very careful. Possibly a little retracement. That's about it. But I mean, can you time that? You know what I mean? Like, can anyone sit back and really time where the market is going to correct from? No, unless you reach a significant structure point, which there is none, right? So this is right now what you would consider a no man's land. The next real level of structure before it reaches even those highs up here is right here. You're in no man's land. So I wouldn't be looking for any sells. Don't look for reversals. Look for continuations. So let me see what else you guys got. Because you're in a buy position, well, hopefully you have the right analysis. Already retested massive. Where? I see no retest. I'm on it right now. Where's the retest? If you're looking at a test of anything, you're looking at the two levels of structure up here. It's not testing anything right now. If you're looking at this behind, look. It's already broken above. It's broken above and actually came back to test that price point. That is not a sell. That is a buy. So be very careful with that. Don't, just because it came back tested, you have to understand the direction, the movement, the momentum. Does that look like a sell to you? Absolutely not. These bullish engulfing candles, look at how many. That is not a sell. That is a strong ass buy. So be very, very careful with that. Let me go back to gold real quick. I want to see if I'm going to be placing a trade on this or not. Oh, probably not. It is 8:01, so we have 29 minutes before news comes out. I don't want to go take a look at the news. I want us to see it happen live on the chart, so that way we can understand how it affects the market. And also, what I have here is I want to see, at least with gold, since I have it marked up, if it does respect these levels of structure. If it does come to these points of interest before news and then gives us the reaction. I mean, I know it's going to give us a reaction regardless, but what I mean is I want to see if we can use technical analysis to kind of but trade the news in advance. Being that, let's say right now we're at this level of resistance and we could look for an initial correction. Let's say the news does come out for the dollar being positive and it drops lower. We were able to identify that with technical analysis. But leading into news, I don't think that's the case because this candle was like, nah, I'm good. Let me actually put it to the extreme highs here. But it doesn't seem that way anymore. So what that might mean is if that's the case, the dollar might be coming out negative, just depending on how it all reacts around here. So let me go to US30 because I know everybody's scared about US30. I don't know why. But yeah, just like I said before, Salah, like this is a potential buy zone. Why did I put J and pips everything? Yeah, let's see how these markets react around news because obviously US30 is going to have a reaction. Gold is going to have a reaction. So let's see how this all works out. But I wish I could tell you what would happen, Salah. This is the thing. This is why I do not trade before the news comes out because we don't know what is actually going to be the direction of the news release. So be very careful when trading the news. So let me go ahead and take a look at some other markets. Let's take a look at USD CAD actually. This market's just been like stuck, man. I've been wanting to trade. USD CAD is actually a really good market to trade, but it has just been not the best. This is something I would not trade, so let me go ahead and turn away from it. I'm just going to put this structure right there. But yeah, any other charts you guys want to take a look at? Any other questions you guys may have? Definitely let me know. Yeah, a lot of these markets, they've been kind of choppy. We've been getting some good volatility on some markets, but some have also just been like, just really, really weird. What? Where's my tool? There it is. So all I'm doing is seeing, okay, that does kind of work out. Just skimming through some charts. Now all I'm doing is just seeing what we have on some other markets. Let's see if there's any potential trade opportunities. I mean, that could be considered a head and shoulders pattern as well, to be honest. Just drawing this real quick. I'm actually going to use a fib from swing high, swing low. So there might be an opportunity on this. Let me go ahead and mark that. Let me get rid of these. So I'm looking at EuroCAD for a potential trade in the future. So I'll make sure I drop the further analysis in the Discord for you guys. Now the reason why I'm just on these smaller time frames is because I kind of understand the direction already, or the idea of EuroCAD. I know that we're at this high and it's at this strong resistance point. I'm kind of like waiting for this to show us some potential sells from here. So that's the only reason why I'm on the smaller time frame. I know that we're in strong buys, but it doesn't seem like those or it doesn't seem like it wants to continue to buy as of yet. So I want to see how this resistance point is planning out. So I'm just using the smaller time frame to find to get the finer detail, right? To really get further confirmations like, okay, well, is it going to sell? Well, let's see what's happening on the smaller time frames that could dictate that. Well, I see right now, again, like I told you before, there's never a weak break of structure and or trend line. This is a strong break of your structure and a trend line, right? We were able to break below previous structure being here. Oh, there we go. This being previous structure. Now, it didn't quite come back to retest this structure perfectly because it wanted to retest the resistance high and the trend line, and also have a fib ratio being the 71.1. So with that fib ratio, the retest of previous structure, and your trend line, we have a case for some continued sells. So I might actually go ahead and look for sells. If this can come back up here, come back up to that zone, I'll be looking for sells on EuroCAD. And I'll make sure that I share that analysis in the Discord with you guys. If you're not a part of the Discord, make sure that you go into the description below. The link is in there for the Discord. It looks like this. You guys will get all the analysis for the charts, like even signals. I know we were doing good on Gbpjpy. We lost that one, so I'm going to see if there's any other markets and any other trades for you guys, so that way we can make that back. You also get the announcements of when I'm going on stream, so that way you guys stay up to date. But yeah, I do think that right now EuroCAD is looking like a nice sell coming up for us. So I'm going to allow that to reach that range. So let's mark it up like this. Sell, kill zone. So hopefully that does come back into that point, because again, we're getting a lot of confirmation stating that this no longer wants to be bullish anymore. We're at a strong level of daily resistance. We're starting to create bearish movements or getting some bearish behavior, being strong impulsive bearish moves from here, break of our trend lines, test the previous structure, and you can even see the rejection coming from not just the structure, but the retest of that trend line itself. So a lot of bearish movement so far, but we got to allow this to develop and really come back into the, I would say, a better entry point. Because if we went ahead and sold this right now, it's probably not going to be best. But if we sold it, if it came up to here, that would be better, because our risk reward would be up here, so about 45 pips, and your take profit would be, at least your first take profit will be 100 pips. Let's say if we sold it now, that'll be a lot different. So I want to see if we can reach back up to this point for EuroCAD, and this is what my trade setup would look like. I'm going to put it right back at those highs. So my first targets would be down here, targets 1. And if you're wondering why would that be my first targets, it's because that's where structure is. Let me do this. Targets 1. Targets 2. Obviously, there's no trade on this just yet. I'm just marking it up in the fashion that if I am going to place it, I have everything illustrated for me. There's no confusion. I understand what I'm looking at on the higher time frame. I have it marked up for my entry point. That's it. I'm not overcomplicating it. I know that, okay, well, this looks like a potential sell. I'm using the smaller time frames to show me that it is going to sell, right? Because selling signals are happening. So I'm now identifying where I would like to enter my initial trade, because sells have happened from this price point before. So that's probably the best area for me to look for my next potential sells. So that's what I'll be looking at with EuroCAD. CAD CHF, please. What do you need with CAD CHF? Are you in a trade on this? What's up? What are you looking at with CAD CHF? Because I want to make sure that I'm looking at something that's going to help you understand better. We actually took a trade on this. We took profits on this yesterday as well. Let me see, big lots signals. Was this CAD? Yep, right here. So buy CAD CHF. We had a nice little entry there, and then we were able to get that beautiful candle, and then I started seeing it respecting. So I said take profits on CAD CHF. So we were able to catch a little move. Didn't quite meet our targets up there, but we were able to get a nice little trade on that. But yeah, what is your initial question with CAD CHF? What can I help you with on CAD CHF? When you guys ask me for a chart, let me know what you guys are asking for. I want to make sure I'm answering in relevance. So what is it in GJ? What do you need help with GJ with? What do you want me to do with GJ? What is your question? You took profit on the buy, but it reversed. Well, it didn't reverse. Is that a reversal or a continuation? Look at the market. What is this currently doing? Is it a reversal or a continuation? This is not an accurate trend line. I'm showing you the direction of the market. What is this currently doing? I'm trying to help you guys understand mistakes. What is this market doing? I'm on the 4-hour. Don't need to be rocket science, as you can see the direction. I'm on the daily. I'm on the weekly. Is it a reversal or is it a continuation? Right? Are we in a sell in GJ? I don't know. Are you? You tell me, Ford. If you're in a sell on GJ, you're in a sell on GJ. I can't tell you what to do with your trades, bro. I'm just here to educate. But right now, right, philosopher, right now, we are in a strong seller's market, a bearish market. So it's not a reversal. It is very much a continuation of the market direction. So if we just draw this out on the daily, we can even add that. I'm adding this trend line because I feel like it will be broken. This is what you would consider and call a counter trend line. Why is it considered a counter trend line? Excuse me. Why is it considered a counter trend line? Because it is a trend line going against the initial trend, the overall trend, right? This is a bullish trend line in a bearish market. So obviously we have a break below that. That'll dictate and show us further sells. I'm going to draw this out as a level of structure because we know that that's a level of support, right? But what are we initially looking at? We go into the 4 hour, still very much bearish. I did look for those, and I'll go back to my analysis even here. The analysis I had was based off of the structure point, right? So we'll actually go and look at that here. So I'm looking at this structure as my initial buy point. We did get a reaction from there. It was this candle here. We bought that candle, right? But without the lack of volatility, reason being, if we look left to get right, where did it come back to? To retest a level of structure. It did not reverse, it continued. It continued to push in the normal direction it was supposed to, right? Let me do this. If we go from swing high here with our fib to swing low, what do you get? You get a retest of previous structure. You get a test of the Fibonacci retracement ratio. If I'm correct, I had a trend line here as well at one point. This is why I hate deleting my analysis. I always delete it so that way I'm like accurate with you guys. I'm marking everything up fresh so that way you guys see all the steps. But that's my initial trend line. Did it reverse or did it continue? Right? We have our bearish engulfing candle here, showing us the rejection of that market structure. The market structure, the trend line, and the fib, right? That's showing me a lot. Now, if I go ahead and get rid of the replay, where is it? It's broken down lower. It's done what it's supposed to do. Now, what else can we do? We can now look at this level of structure still, but no longer as support, but as a newfound level of resistance. We can now take our fib, same steps, nothing different. Draw that out. Allow the market to now correct back into a specific point. I'm going to draw this up as my entire zone. It can now respect the 38.2, the 50% retrace ratio. Shit, it can even come back up to 61.8. But I'm drawing this out here, specifically with 38.2 and the 50, because this is where structure, price is. So that's your sell kill zone. See how easy it is? Now I'm saying easy because I want you guys to start thinking that way. The psychology aspect behind trading is very real. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult for us to get over that point, but when you start saying, oh, this is mad easy, I already know what I'm looking for, and you stay true to that, discipline, trading becomes very, very simple. But let me see what else you guys got. That's my idea with CAD CHF. Now that it's broken lower and still a continued seller's market, that will be your sell kill zone. Allow the market to correct and retrace back up to that point, and you're good. GJ, is it reversal or continuation? And in a sell, should I hold? You tell me. So this is my thing. I'm never going to tell you what to do with your own trade. And I hope somebody else is as real as I am about what I'm about to say. And I literally was just speaking about it, the psychological aspect of it. You need to build your own confidence. Because look, what if I went to GJ and I said right now that you said you're in a sell, right? So let's say you're in a sell. Where are you selling from? Right? Are you selling from up here? Because everything is situational in terms. If you're selling from up here, why not hold? I mean, you're in great profits, but then it changes if you say you sold from here. Should you still hold? You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to trust your own analysis and trust your own trade. So I'm not going to tell you what to do with this, right? And that's not to sound rude. That's not to sound mean. That's to help you grow. That's to help you build your own confidence when it comes to trading. I already had done my analysis on GJ. We have hit a level of resistance, but I think overall, this is what I mean about why I don't want to speak on anybody's trades. I think overall, since we hit this level of significant support, right, on the higher time frame, I had drawn it out, but I'm going to do it again. Double bottom, which is a bullish reversal pattern. We have already respected this level of resistance, yes, but look at this strong bullish move. I do think overall, GJ, Again, we also have pound news later on in the day, so it'll be very difficult for me to say, you know, buy or sell. But I think overall, Gbpjpy is a buy. I do not think sells will continue, if that makes sense. Aldo, hi there. How do you find USD MXN for continuation and still shorting? I haven't traded USD MXN in a while. You tell me. This is the theme of the whole session today, guys. You tell me. So my man Aldo, look at USD MXN. What type of market are we in? You have to use common sense. I know if I'm looking left, yes, we're at a level of structure here. I get that. That could be a factor. But look at the chart. Actually look at it, guys. I want you to pay attention. I want you guys to not just be like, well, what is it doing? Is it buying? Is it selling? Is it going to continue? Look at it. What do you think? This is very much a continued sell. No markup needed. We're using common sense, right? Once we understand the direction of the market, everything else is done. All you have to, well, not everything else, but you obviously have to do the finer detail to really understand what's next. But as far as an entry is concerned, but you tell me, Aldo, for USD MXN, what do you think is going to happen? Look at this market from these highs to these lows. Do you think just randomly today is going to start reversing for us? No. From 2020, so about 2 years, 3 years now, this has been selling. That should answer your question. I'm going to sell Gbpjpy. Should I hold or close? I can't tell you that, brother. I cannot tell you that. That is your trade. I'm not trying to be mean or rude. This is how you grow. This is how you develop into a trader. This is how you start trusting your trades. This is how you start, you know, if you start trusting your trades, you'll be able to place bigger lot sizes because you become more confident. So I can't tell you what to do with your own individual trade. If you have analysis, by all means, feel free. You can share it. I'll try to take a look at it if you have a link to your analysis, but I can't tell you what to do with that. Price selling, thanks. Yep. Aldo, it's just being real. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help you guys also understand that, because I see this shit, man, and it bothers me. I mean, I have a weird strategy like this too. I do have my own weird personal little strategy with moving averages and a Bollinger Band, but none of that is needed. And I think what a lot of people are not understanding is you don't need all these bells and whistles and strategies and smart money concepts and order blocks and you know, you don't need any of that to understand the true essence of what the market is and what it gives you. What I'm looking at is a seller's market. Just because I wake up today doesn't mean, well, it's selling, you know, it's been selling this entire time, but I think today is going to buy. No, look at it. You have to really look. I can tell that this is a seller's market, maybe a correction. I could see a potential correction happening in this market, absolutely. But as far as a continued market, or a reversal rather, no. This is without a doubt going to continue to be bearish. Where is it going to be bearish from? I mean, it could be bearish from anywhere over here. We have other structure points here. This is not a market I necessarily trade. But I mean, there's a lot of structure points that we could base entries off of. We have to wait for them to reach these points for us to then determine the actions that happen there to really see if there's going to be an entry. But yeah, dude, you gotta look. You gotta say that, well, this shit is selling. It's going to continue to sell. It's not just going to start buying out of nowhere. Even with news, let's say, you know, the dollar comes out positive and starts selling. That could just be from there to there. You know what I mean? So very much still a continued sell. Thanks, bro. I bought when it retests, but I jumped up a lot, but I learned a lot. Good. As long as you guys are learning, that's the biggest thing. As long as you guys are learning. I'm from New York City, so everything I say sounds stupid, disrespectful, and mean. It sounds like I'm like cursing you out half the time when I'm talking. I apologize, but by no means am I. I'm just trying to be as real as possible when it comes to helping you guys really understand this. Because I think what a lot of the misconception is that, again, you have to have all these bells and whistles and all these crazy things on your chart in order for you to, like, when your chart starts looking like this, because I see it a lot, and you got trend lines and you have your fibs left over from last week, you're not going to understand what's happening. But when you take a very simple approach and you're like, okay, let me take a step back and look at this. What's the first thing I need to do in order for me to even start marking up? I need to determine, or I have to determine the trend. I can see right now it's bearish. Okay. I can see that this market is bearish. If it's going to be continued, let me check on a higher time frame to see if this is going to be a continued bearish market. Am I at a PRZ zone, being a potential reversal zone? Would I consider this one? Not necessarily. I mean, this definitely can be, excuse me, this definitely can be something of interest, but I really wouldn't even use that. I like extreme highs and lows. I would even say somewhere down at this point, which we're not there as of yet, right? So for me, I'm like, okay, well, if we're not at a level of significant structure yet, and I'm in a strong bearish market, I'm going to continue to look for a bearish or a sell. I'm going to continue looking for, my bearish entries. Where can that be from? Well, where did sells happen from before? Well, again, the pattern that I'm always showing you guys is things respect structure. So I'm just going to go from up here and we're going to scale down. Break and retest. Look at that zone. That break and retest zone. Not almost perfect, but not quite. We have another point here, creating another break and retest. This couldn't quite, as soon as it broke, came down, this couldn't come back up to its retest point up here, but this definitely did here. And I'm just showing you guys so that way you can see that the market repeats itself over and over again. It broke this level of structure, came back, retested it. Right? Now we see the impulse move to the downside. It actually did come back up and retest this. Broke through this candle, retested that zone, came crashing back down. Can't make this up. Even though it's not perfect, look at that. Came back, retested that zone. Why am I doing this over and over? Why am I showing you each one of these points? Because if we look at USD MXN, where's the next potential sell point? Here. Right? And I'm on the 4-hour time frame. So if you're looking at a potential buy, I wouldn't see this as a reversal, but if you're looking for a buy from there to here, that could be a thing, I guess, right? I mean, this would be the entire zone, but I don't want my zone that big. So now I'm going to get rid of some things now that we got detailed. But no reversals. I would say all continuation. And look at that, 61.8, right at that range. So I would think that you're looking at a continued sell on USD MXN. No buys, no reversals, no nothing. That trend line don't work. I'm trying to see if there's any other further conflicts. I'll add this trend line. I'll actually add it from up here as well. I'm trying to see where I like the trend line more. No, I like it from here. That's the start of the sell. So the reason why I'm drawing this trend line out is because it could very much become some analysis or a form of technical analysis here too, right? Or confluence rather, because we can get the break and retest of that structure, the test of that 61.8, and also that trend line, which will obviously give us a strong case for potential sells. So that is my idea with USD MXN. I would think that you would look for continued sells from that range. So sell, kill zone. That. So bam, there we go. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of what to do next with USD MXN. How do you, hey bro, do you think USD will be bullish or bearish with news? Why do people ask that? I have no idea. I can't tell you that. Nobody can. Nobody. If somebody was to tell you right now, oh yeah, it's going to be bullish, they're fucking lying to you. I'm just going to be real with you. They're lying to you. Nobody can ever dictate what the news is going to be unless only the people who are fucking releasing it. You know what I mean? Nobody can tell you. If you go into another group and they tell you sell or buy, they're lying. I use technical analysis. Like if I go back to gold, I'll use technical analysis to try to determine what it is. But that's try, keyword. I don't know. Nobody does. Unless you're, paying for the fundamental releases, which you can in some way you can get, access to that information. There are ways of getting that access legally, you know what I mean? But do I have access to that? No, I have not sought it out. So I can't tell you what the news is going to be. Nobody can. But right now, what I will tell you is I'm looking at gold and I might actually, you know what, as we wait, because we got 4 minutes left for news anyway, I'm going to go to my MT4 and I'm going to look to sell gold. Now, This is stupid. I'm going to repeat this. What I am doing right now is very dumb. I want everybody to understand that. I am stupid for doing this. So the reason why I'm doing this before anybody's, going crazy, and let me place my sell that now that's at this price real quick. Give me 1 second. All right. So what I'm doing real quick, I've placed a very, very small lot size sell. I mean, a very small lot size sell. My entry is like right around here. So I'm looking to sell gold right now because I have a theory or I think that before news, the market does reach price points or significant structure and then it makes its news, right? Or it makes its move rather. So I think that using common sense that you always want to sell from a high point or buy from a low. What I think is that the news kind of reacts in that same manner, right? We get the volatility or the market reaches a significant price point, and when news comes out, we get the volatility we would want based off of technical analysis and the direction we're looking. So that is a theory that I have. This is not a fact. So what I'm doing is really dumb. I've already placed my trade, so there's no going back. You do not have to place this. There's a high chance of losing this trade. The only reason why I'm placing it is because I want to test that out. I want to see if I'm actually correct and if my theory is actually not a theory, and I want to see if it's a fact. I want to see how many times I can win more times than lose trading the news with a technical or with a price action standpoint. But I can't tell you, off of anything other than technical analysis of what the news would be. Okay, do you know what the consensus on economic calendar based off of then? What do you mean? Like, do I know how to use Forex Factory and trade the news? Yes, I do. If that's what you mean. Yeah, it's really easy. Anybody could do it. You go to Forex Factory, red level folder news. You find the pair. Let's say it comes out green. The numbers come out green for the dollar. You just go ahead and you start selling gold, sell Euro USD, buy USD CHF, if that's what you mean. But do I pay attention to anything economic or fundamental? No, I do not. All I do is focus on price action. And the majority of the time, if there is news coming out, guess what? I do not trade it. I stay away because there's a lot of money to be made, but there's also a lot of money to be lost at the same time. So no, I do not trade the news, but I'm just testing the waters out to see if my little theory is correct. I think we're going to lose this, to be honest. What I'm doing is really stupid, but because we're such in a strong bullish market on gold already, to be going against it is not the best idea, especially with the analysis I have. Look, I have a break of a trend line, but I just want to see if the idea of the market reaching a specific price point and then giving a reaction off of it. But like when I say I have a small ass lot size, I'm talking about if I took a loss right now, it really doesn't matter. But I'm just testing this out. And I don't want to test it on a demo because you don't get the same like psychological feeling to it. So I did it on a live account with a very small ass lot size. So we're waiting. We got a few seconds left for the news to be released. And I just want to see the reaction. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Well, it looks like it came out negative for the dollar. So there you go. I just wanted to see if that was actually a thing that we could do. But let's see. So there you go. That answers your question. What's the news going to be? It looks like it came out negative for the dollar. And I would actually go for marking this up here as well. Because what I do want to see is, I mean, obviously, if this is broken up here, that's a strong idea for continued buys. But if we even get respect from these highs, I'll go ahead and look for a potential re-entry to the downside. But yeah, looks like it came out negative for the dollar for everybody who was looking. And yeah, I don't think I'll be using the idea of that theory anymore to see if the news reacts off of these structure or price points. If anything, I'll see if it actually reacts off of this. But I will not be placing an entry from these highs here, only because if you lose one, you don't want to double dip. You don't want a revenge trade. And really, it doesn't matter. I think my stop loss, if I have one put on my account right now, should have been hit. So it doesn't really matter. I literally put a 0.01 just to let everybody know. And I have a pretty significant amount of money in that account too. But yeah, I'm not going to over risk or over leverage something. I just wanted to test that out, see if there was that potential idea that if news does come out or before it comes out, if we can use some form of technical analysis before news is released to kind of dictate and kind of predict where that news would end up going. But yeah, I kind of figured since we're in such strong bullish market, we have the analysis all for it, respective structure, break of a trend line. I just want to see if this level of structure here would in fact be respected while news was out. But yeah, I just wanted to test that out. Hopefully you guys didn't place that. I told you it was stupid. But yeah. Yeah, questions, comments, any other charts you guys want to take a look at? Let me take a look at US30 as well. I know you guys love US30. Not too much movement on that. I would have expected a little bit more. Let me go take a look at Euro USD. Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense with the lack of, or the dollar losing value, Euro USD spiking up. So what we can do with this as well, we'll do this with gold too. Maybe I'll place another entry on that. We'll do this with Euro USD because we're still very much stuck in this range, and it doesn't seem as if the news gave us enough volatility to actually break above or below. So we're still very much in this range. Ranging market. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this sell area, right? Because that is a resistance point, and we should be looking for sells around this price point. And then obviously this would be considered your buy range. So it doesn't seem as if we had enough volatility to break above. I don't think selling it right now, especially with how the news just came out, would be a good idea. But if this can develop, or rather if the candles stay around this range, does not break above, I'd go ahead and look for some potential sells here with Euro USD. Because I know somebody was asking about EU a little bit earlier. So let me do this. So it does seem as if this isn't broken. You guys have a sell point there. Had an idea on AN, posted link above. I didn't get a link. I didn't get a link here on YouTube. I don't think they, I think that's blocked, brother. Unfortunately, yeah. If you, can you send it in Discord? If you send it in Discord, that'd be dope. But I didn't get it here on the, on YouTube. So my bad. You said AN, AUD, NZD. Those are sells. It may be a potential head and shoulders pattern. Probably that, if that's what you're looking at. Oh. If you're looking at that could be a possibility. But I wouldn't be looking for buys on that just yet because you're still very much in a bearish move right now. Until you start seeing some strong bullish indications, I really wouldn't be doing anything else on that. But if that's what you're looking at, yeah. Your content is very cool, man. Do you have a course in Telegram? No Telegram, but if you take a look at the description, I have a Discord, so you're more than welcome to join that. The Discord is here. Somebody put the chat here. There we go. Basically exactly what I said. So yeah, you're good on that. Yes, that's a good idea. But yeah, you have the Discord, or I have a Discord here. I put analysis, I'll put signals there as well. You'll also get updated with any and all of the live sessions that I do for you guys. So yeah. What are the best pairs to trade during London session, or does it matter? What do you think? What do you think? So New York session, we're trading US pairs because New York session is in, or New York is in the US. And London, you have the euro and the pound. The euro and pound. And then in Asian session, guess what? Guess what you're trading? The yens. Make sense? Common sense, everybody. Got to use it. You have to have it. When trading, that's the only thing you need to become profitable. I absolutely promise. When you use common sense when you're trading, that's where profits come. Right? Let me go back to gold. I want to see how that's doing. Probably. Oh, look at that. Maybe. Probably. And let me actually check if I'm still in. I am still in. Okay. Let me go back to YouTube before I forget. All right. So maybe we still have a little bit of life here on gold, because look at that. It's right back at our entries. It hasn't hit stops. Because I did actually put like an 80 pip stop. That's 75. Yeah, my stops are 80 pips. So my stops have not been hit. I'm still in this. And look at that. We're kind of like peeking in and out of profits. Let's see how this works out for us. If that's the case, I'm going to take a very risky trade because, again, during news, this is actually something I don't do. I'm actually just doing it with you guys just because for the fun of it. I'm going to go ahead and sell Euro USD as well. I'm going to put stop losses right above the highs here, so that's going to be about 35 pips. Entry's a little off because obviously I would have liked to have my entries up there, but obviously that's not the case. First targets are going to be here, obviously, because that's a buy range. So targets 1. Let me make sure that I'm up to date on the live with you guys. So targets 1. Didn't mean to move that. And then if that's broken, then you just hold on for dear life because that shit's not going to stop selling. I would say even down to here. So very risky and very stupid, by the way. Like what I'm doing right now, trading during the news, looking at these stupid ass entries. Like this could very much just say, you know what, fuck this, I'm out, and continue to be bullish. Because it does seem as if it came out, or the news came out negative for the dollar, right? So what we're doing is probably not the best idea, but we're going to go ahead, or at least I am. I'm going to take the risk. The biggest risk in life is not taking one. So I'm going to go ahead and look for my sells on EU. I'm actually in very small profits, actually. I know there's a delay, so you guys might have entered this a little bit late if you guys did, but this is what my trade setup would look like, or is looking like. Targets 1. The reason why this is my targets 1 is because obviously this is a level of support. This can obviously buy from this area. So if it starts to look as if it's going to buy from this point, I'm not going to hold on to that. I'm going to take my profits and run. If this level of structure is broken, if the support point is broken to the downside, then obviously we know sellers are definitely confirmed, and we'll continue to hold that trade and look for re-entries to the downside as well. We'll have multiple sells as this market, hopefully, if it does, reverse. So that will be my idea with Euro USD. Let me go back to gold really quick. Gold is just inching into profits. We had an initial reaction, so maybe our theory isn't so off. Maybe our theory isn't so off about that. Maybe they're just like, you know what, let's spike this up, see if we catch anybody. I'm not a firm believer in stop hunts and all of that jazz and market makers and everything. I do believe that there's a fluctuation of so much money being put out in the market during a news release that it has to give you that initial, like, what am I doing reaction. But right now, gold looking pretty decent. Gold's looking pretty good. Euro USD, I'm in small profits on that as well. So let me see what else you guys got. And let me see, can you take a look at UCAD? Probably buying. If gold is selling and if we're selling gold, we're selling Euro USD, you're probably looking for buys on USD CAD. Look at that. That looks pretty good. That means maybe USD JPY too. Oh no, USD JPY said no. I thought that might have started being bullish as well. USD CHF. Kinda. Wanted to give a reaction. NZD USD. Giving us somewhat of a bearish reaction here. So the reason why I'm looking at all these other cross pairs is because if we're looking at gold for sells, if we're looking at Euro USD for sells, that means USD CAD would be a buy. Because the dollar, it seems, is actually gaining strength. I thought it came out negative. Seemed like it came out negative for the dollar, but definitely not. So you're probably looking for buys on USD CAD. You're at a level of significant structure. We go on to a higher time frame. You can even see it creating that structure here. Wicks equaling rejection. Market is no longer looking at sells. This is probably going to start looking for buys. So USD CAD, long-term buy analysis. I'm not going to say buys because I don't want you guys going ahead and start buying this. But yes, I'm buying because I'm selling EU. See, you got it. You meant USD CHF. Oh. Well, that's different. Nah, this is a different one. I would think that you just, I mean, again, look at it. Look at it. You got to look at it. What is it doing? Right? Potential re-entry buys. Oh, I forgot about this. I got to delete. I'm over here talking shit about old analysis, and I got old analysis here. At least it was completely correct, though. That thing looked beautiful. So, yeah, I mean, look at it. You're probably wanting to sell USD CHF because it doesn't seem as if it's reacting that well with the news. So, yeah, I mean, again, guys, common sense. Not to sound disrespectful by no means, but we have to use it to understand what's initially happening. What are we looking at? Is it buying? Is it selling? This is selling, so you're probably going to look for continued sells, in my honest opinion. I know we're looking at, gold potential sells, Euro USD sells, but with USD CHF, the way that's reacting, yeah, you probably want to continue down. Look at daily. Yeah, it's still very much selling. Still very much a seller's market. If you're looking at this over here, like the structure, I mean, that could be a thing that'll give you a bullish reaction. But as of right now, like, you're not getting that. Look at this. Forget that level of structure. Look at what's just broken. You know what I mean? That's a strong level of support that was just broken. That's probably going to give you more reaction to the downside. That's why I'm looking at buys. Yeah, definitely not. Be very careful. You guys have to stop looking for reversals and continue with the market direction. This is not something that's going to dictate a strong buy immediately. For one, when you get to these points, you don't immediately buy. You let the market develop. You let it show you that it's ready for a buy. If it's not, if it doesn't show you, then you're not buying shit, right? Look at the current market standpoint, because what you're looking at so far, this shit can't make you money anymore. This is all the way in 2021. This is last year stuff. You know what I mean? 2 years ago. This doesn't matter. This, what you're looking at here, matters. Pay attention to what the market is currently doing. The market is not oversold. You're not always going to find a reversal, but you will always find a continuation. You have just broken a very significant level of support with a strong bearish engulfing candle. Look at that. That is no longer a buy. You're looking at sells. If you're looking at a buy, it is a corrective buy. Maybe up into here, maybe. My tools want to work, right? If we look left to get right, let me go into a 2 hour real quick so we can see things a little bit better. Maybe up into that point. Yeah, I mean, you do have some potential sell points, but yeah, you have to pay attention to the what the market is currently giving you. That is a sell. That is a strong ass sell. Somebody said, GJ, I already looked at GJ a million times. Already looked at GJ a million times. That is my idea. There's really nothing on it right now. You're in a ranging market. A ranging market. That is your idea. News already came out. News already came out for the dollar. News has already came out for the dollar. We can see right now that the dollar looked like it came out weak, but has now, it looks like it's starting to come back a little bit. So I'm looking at those sells on gold, looking at those potential sells here on Euro USD, just to see how it reacts, because we are still in this ranging market. News didn't come out as volatile or as crazy as I would have expected, to be completely honest. But yeah, any other questions you guys have? Anything else you guys got for me? Feel free to let me know. Definitely want to make sure that I'm helping and assisting to the best of my abilities. If you are gaining some knowledge, if I answered one of your questions, if you are getting some value from these calls, please do me a quick favor. Please like this this video. Please like this real quick. It definitely helps. Again, I want to build this community just based off of transparency, honesty, value, and a ton of profits. If I can get a group of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people in our Discord and everybody just sharing charts and sharing knowledge and really going over things together, and bouncing ideas off of each other, the community will be the most profitable and knowledgeable ones around. So I really want to help as many people as I possibly can, and really answer any and all questions to help you guys become more profitable and consistent with your own trading. You said, Dow Jones, I'm in a buy side. What do you think? I'm not going to tell you. I can't tell you. If you're in a trade, you have to trust your own analysis. If you executed a trade based off of your own individual knowledge, trust it. I'm not going to tell you. You have to trust your own analysis. That is the one thing I have to let you guys understand. You have to build your own psychology, your own confidence. You're not going to get that by second guessing or getting a second opinion from anybody. Because a second opinion, I could be wrong. If I was to let me go to US30, right? If I go to US30, I'm like, I think that's a sell. And you're in a buy. And you go ahead and let's say you take your profits or a small loss, and then it starts buying in your favor. You're like, whoa, damn, I listened to Jay and I shouldn't have. You have to trust your own analysis, trust your own trades. You have to be that's very important. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your own trade, bro. This is how you look. This is how you develop that psychology. This is how you grow. This is how you learn. This is how you become more consistent. So you tell me what you think is going to be best for you. If you think that you should stay in the buys, if your analysis dictates and shows that you should be, stay in it. If you feel like your analysis is incorrect, if you feel like your entry is off, if you feel like you don't, or your instinct is telling you to get out, then get out. But these are the decisions that we all have to make as individuals when it comes to trading. The reason why I'm saying that is because once we get off this session, who are you going to ask? You know what I mean? Maybe you have a community, yeah, but will they know as well? You don't want to take advice from other people. You have to develop that psychology. It's really important. What do you think? What do you think sell stop on GU? You tell me. Do you have analysis? If you have analysis, you tell me. Again, you have to develop that idea. If I go to Gbpjpy USD, I personally don't put sell stops. But why would you put a sell stop? Look at that market. Look at that market. What is the point in putting a sell stop there? What is the point of putting a sell stop there? Look at the market. Why are you selling anything? Stop looking for reversals. Look for continuations. I'm going to be very, very adamant about that. Look for continuations. Stop looking for reversals. Why would you put a sell stop at 23.3? What is that? 33. Okay. There is absolutely no point in putting a sell stop there. There's literally no technical analysis, no structure, no reason to even look at that price at this point. Do not start looking for reversals. Look for continuations. Those are your best friends. I do have my own analysis. I'm just asking for another opinion. I'm telling you, don't do it. That's what I'm telling you. Look at the market. Look at it. 23.33. Yeah. There's no sells. You have to understand, what is the point of putting a sell stop there? If there's analysis, what is the analysis that shows any form of sell there? Is there structure previously there? That, no. If you're looking at this point, no, absolutely not. That's just one point. If you're looking at sells, I mean, the best point would be here. Those highs, look at those highs. That would be your best idea for sells, if anything. But as of right down here, there's really nothing. I wouldn't do anything with that. If it doesn't hit, then I'll cancel it. But you got to understand, what is the point of looking for a sell stop when you know you're in a bullish market, right? That's the point. That's what I'm trying to help you understand. You're not selling when you can clearly see that this market is in a strong buy. Because let's say it does this. Comes down, hits your sell stop, and says, fuck that, I'm out. You just sold in a bullish market. That is a big no-no. I know I'm doing it being risky on gold and EU right now. I know I was really dumb, but I already stated it was a stupid idea. I just wanted to see if my little theory would work. But in a professional standpoint, there is no sells. There's no analysis to even dictate that price is a sell point. That's what I'm trying to help you understand, because I want you to not make that mistake. You are not selling in a strong buy market until you reach points like this, where you're at an extreme high or low, when you're at a PRZ, a potential reversal zone. When you hit those points, yes. Up until here, absolutely not. You have to pay attention to the direction of the market. Don't look for reversals, look for continuations. That is a very important nugget that I hope everybody takes with them. US30 is very bullish right now. Cool. Look at H4. If it taps into the supply zone and continues to fall, then why wouldn't you sell in daily supply zone? What do you mean? Look at H4. If it taps into, you talk about here? You talk about what I literally just marked up here? Why wouldn't I sell? I said I would. I would sell from here. Is that what you mean? Let me see. Let me just make sure I'm reading that right. Look at H4. If it taps into the supply zone and continues to fall, then why wouldn't you sell? And daily, if you're talking about this point, yes. But if we're talking about what's happening, where's the sell? Because if you're saying that if it tapped this, why wouldn't I sell? Because it broke. It broke above. You know what I mean? If you're looking at here, if it didn't tap, it broke. Oh yeah, before I sent it. Okay, but yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about here. I'm like, because it broke above. Why wouldn't I sell? Because it broke above. But yeah, if you're talking about this point up here, then yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. You're not going to. You can't just let this market do this. It gets to that point, and they're up. Time to sell. No, 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 no. You have to let the market show you it wants to sell. Because right now we're in such a strong bullish market with a strong bullish. Look at this impulse to the upside. And that's on the 4 hour. Look at on the 1 hour. That could very much get tired at this point, but does it mean that it will? No. If this is respected, if this high is respected, then yes, I would absolutely be looking for sells. But if we start to see this shit where the market is just like, I'm good, which it might do exactly that, then obviously you're not selling that, right? And you would definitely delete that sell limit, that limit order, because obviously it's broken above and it's definitely not going to reach those lows again. So be very careful with that. Don't look for reversals. Look for continuations, guys. Always look for that. You want to identify the market. You want to go where the market is moving. If it's bullish, it's bullish. You're going with it. That's it. Done deal. End of story. You're not second guessing it. You're not looking for reversals. You're not getting a second opinion. You have to be confident with that. If you're not confident with that, your lot sizes stay at 0.01s. You don't have consistent profits. You don't place the trades because you're scared of losing. Those are the type of things that happens if you don't develop that little psychological aspect and you don't build that confidence. So understand, the biggest thing that you must do is you have to go in the direction of the actual market. Go where the money is going. If the fucking money, if there's a truck going down the wrong way on the highway at 160 miles an hour, and they say if I can catch it, I'm catching it. I'm following that. I'm following the money. I don't care if I'm in the wrong direction of the market. We're going 160 miles an hour. If that's where the money's going, I'm getting it. That's the same thing that the market is showing you right now in GU. So you want to make sure you're continuing in that market direction. Always follow the market. Continue in the direction of the money. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's important because all session long, and it's not a bad thing. I'm happy that this is happening. So that way we can see that it's a very common theme and is a very common, issue that everybody suffers from. Not suffers from, but it's something that we have to, it's a bad habit that we have to break. We can't say that this is overbought. Like, oh God, this is way too bullish. It has to sell. No, it doesn't. This could still be very much bullish. And even more so, if you think this is it, this is probably just the beginning of something so much more, right? So be very careful with that. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm waiting and looking for confirmation. Perfect. But yeah, don't ever put a sell stop. Don't put your sell stop. Don't put no sell limits. None of that. Because I promise you that it probably won't even be hit. And if it does get hit, if it looks on like this, it'll probably just be like boink and then use that as a buy entry instead of a sell entry. You know what I mean? So be very careful with that. But if anything, you can look for this as your sell area. Reaches there, comes back down. That you can look at, and then maybe a continuation to the upside. But besides that, yeah, I wouldn't be looking at any sells. And I'm pretty sure gold is skyrocketed. Yeah, gold kind of like playing around in its little range. But I just wanted to see how that worked out for us. Let me go take a look at EU. I might, depending on how this is, we got 5 minutes for this to close. Oh man, do I want to risk it? Nah, I ain't gonna be that crazy. I was gonna say it's right at where I would originally have wanted to enter, to be completely honest. I would have liked to take my risk there because I would have had the same stop loss and it would have been a lot smaller. It would have been about 20 pips. Depending on, let's see how this reacts. If this market if we can't break above these highs, this resistance for a while, I'm gonna look for sells at that point. So bro, look at UJ. I took an entry, just took profits. Any thoughts? Nice job. I don't. 2870 or 700. Yeah, I mean, good job. On hold or close. Again, that's up to you. I don't know why you entered. I don't know why you exited. You said at 700, so that's there. So I would say late entry in the sense of the sell. You don't want to try to, you want to try to not sell at low points. That's a pretty low point. But again, I don't know the reason for entry. I don't know your analysis. That's all up to you. That's where where I'm saying you guys have to develop your own idea. You have to start getting that confidence, that that psychological barrier, right? If I had an idea of your analysis, the reason for your entry and stuff, then that might be helpful. But I can't really tell you anything on that, brother. It's hard for me to do that when I have no knowledge of your the reasoning behind the entry and the take profit. That's something that you always got to consider. Hi, how long can GJ drop? I don't know, but here's a good reference. It could drop as much as it wants to. As much as it wants to. But here's my analysis. Yeah, like it could drop as much as it wants, bro. Like I can't. You're like trying to ask me, is water wet? Right? Of fucking course it is. But we know that, it's there. We know it could do whatever it wants. Same thing with this. It could drop down to these lows. It could drop down all the way down to these lows. But if you do analysis, you'll be able to determine and see that. It's a very simple concept. I can't tell you how low it'll go, but it definitely looks like it's selling. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But yeah, I can't ever tell you like how far something's going to go. I could tell you, it's selling. I could tell you that it's probably going to sell to this point because that's the next level of structure. I could say that. But as far as, anything else, I can't say it's going to sell all the way down to the 134. Can't tell you that. I wish I could, because if I could, that means I could tell the future and I'd never be wrong on trades again. But yeah, any other questions? Anything else you guys got for me? Entry on 15 minutes, stop at entry on, yeah, again, I still don't know the reason behind the entry, but if you took profits, this is a thing also, if you made money on a trade, you're right. You don't need anybody else's opinion because whose opinion matters. If you're correct, if you made money, you made money. You made the right decision. Just continue to make that right decision and you're good. I like your straightforwardness, no beating around the bush. Yeah, nah, man. Like, I see it all the time. It's because everybody has some type of MLM or system to sell you and buy this and buy that and affiliate this. And I really just care about actually seeing people progress. I know that in the future, this can grow into something much larger and everybody will be able to benefit from it at a point that, it can change lives. So I really don't care about like the nonsense. Honestly, I'm not about that shit. I'll always keep things real, and also because the things that I'm telling you guys, I wish somebody had told me because I wouldn't have made so many mistakes. I wouldn't have lost so much money. I wouldn't be able to have, I would say, a small company. I got 1,400 students, right? I wouldn't be able to have that without the idea of, keeping things as straightforward and honest as possible, especially in this industry, because you could be the best trader in the world, have a losing week, a losing month, and then that's it. Everybody bashes you for it and everybody destroys you for it. But if you're honest, if you're very transparent about everything, you show exactly what you're doing. It's like showing the work to the test, right? Even if you're wrong about a trade, everybody will be able to understand that you're very real about what you're giving out, whether you're wrong or right. So that's exactly what I'm just trying to put forward, man. That is it. Just want to make sure everybody's progressing and learning. But yeah, GJ, it's definitely selling. Looks like a lot of these yens are selling now, as they were previously buying. So it can sell down to a specific structure point. Yes, I am ex-military, actually. I was in the Army. I'm a combat vet. I don't like saying that shit, but yes, I was in the Army. Appreciate your honesty, fam. Yep, always, man. Always, always, always. But yeah, any other questions? Any other charts you guys want to take a look at? If not, we will conclude for today. I do need to jump on a binary session or at least get the getting the binary auto trader, if you will, automated binary sessions or profits, if you will, for students. So I want to get that set up so that way they could just make money as I trade binary for them. Now, I think the timing of the binary sessions of being at, right after this at around 9:30, kind of being a little bit off. I don't think students are really being able to join those sessions. So I want to get everything automated for everybody and get things situated. So let me see what else you guys got. I could tell, bro, I have military family members. Yeah, that's the straightforwardness in me, to be honest. Oh, good thing we didn't sell this yet. All right. Oh, EuroCAD was there. Okay. So no sells on this as of yet. I was looking at this as a sell, but no longer. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow morning. I do have to actually jump onto a binary session with students, or at least start trading or get the auto trader or binary automated for them, so that way I can get them started with that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. With that being said, we'll conclude for today. If you guys did get any type of value, any type of knowledge, if I answered one of your questions, again, please do me a quick favor, like the video, share it with somebody, or at least subscribe. It's very helpful. It's definitely growing the community to be something much larger than I ever anticipated, and I really do appreciate the help that you guys are giving. I don't market this. I don't have anybody else. I don't have a team or anything. This is solely myself, so I want to grow this through organic reach and really impacting people's lives and providing as much profits and value as possible. So if you can, just please like the video. Definitely helps. If you want to join the Discord, the link is in the description below. You'll be able to get all of the analysis, updates to any and all lives. Obviously, the signals that I'll be putting out for you guys. I do want to see if there's any other trades that I could put out for you guys, since we did take that one loss. I believe it was on Gbpjpy. So if I could find 1 or 2 trades for you guys, I'll definitely put that out. So if you're not a part of the Discord, make sure that you are a part of it as well. I do want to extend my gratitude for everybody that's being on every single day. The viewer count has been increasing, and that's due to you guys. So I definitely want to extend my gratitude for everybody who's been consistently on. And if you're a new viewer, if you're somebody who's just jumping on for the first or second time, thank you so much. I really want to extend my gratitude to you as well. I promise I'll be doing these every day to help increase your knowledge and education in the markets, so that way you can do this on your own and be able to make your own profits and be able to make your own money as well. So thank you guys. Definitely edit the title to Live Forex Trading. Send me a message. Is that not what I have it as? If not, I'll change that. I could have sworn I had that. But yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and do that. I appreciate that insight, and I'll make sure that I do that for the next one. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much. I appreciate every last one of you guys. If there's anything